G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for the actual part 4 of my physical Gunslinger Warlord playthrough with Genghis Khan here. Now, if you skipped the previous episode, it was about maybe 20 minutes, let's say 15 after I finished waffling at the start there. And that's how long it took to get my hands on a superior Viper Sandspitter of Alacrity and a superior Viper Sandspitter of Ruin. Now, with these guns, I'm going to swap over to pistols. I didn't actually test this in between episodes, so this could go horribly, horribly wrong again. But we'll see. So the idea is basically, you will need yourself a Gunslinger's Talisman. I crafted this, I think, in episode 3. But to craft this, you will need the Reputation with the... where are they? Devil's Crossing. You will need Respected. Then you'll need to come over here to Ellis, who is the Quartermaster, and you'll need to buy yourself the Gunslinger's Talisman here, and then craft it. Now, none of the materials required to craft this should be terribly hard to find. If you don't have a Tainted Brain Matter, what you can do is you can just go to the Warden's Laboratory, and there are a few heroes in here that have somewhat set spawn locations. So just in this room here, or I think in this room here, you can find one of the heroes. There's a guaranteed hero right here every single time. And then you can kill the Warden. Eventually, one of those will drop you a Tainted Brain Matter and robs your father's brother. You're on your way. So, Gunslinger Talisman is the new hotness. This is what we need to dual-wield pistols. And you cannot dual-wield pistols without an item on this particular class choice. So, Soldier or Warlord or Oathkeeper, none of them have a way to dual-wield pistols except by using an item. Now, I'm going to be using the Gunslinger's Talisman. If you were watching episode 3, I'm pretty sure it was, you could also find yourself a Gunslinger's Jacket. The issue with that, of course, is this is not very good actual armor. So you're best to use the Gunslinger's Talisman. Alright, let's make the change, and it's going to be somewhat irreversible. Keep my add-on here. And there we go. And actually, I'm going to just go ahead and dump all of this stuff into the bank. And by the bank, I mean the merchant. Leovinus ring, definitely want to hang on to that. I don't use them because of reasons, but yeah, they're not bad. Okay, so pistols. We have 2 of them. We no longer are able to use Force Wave, and we're going to lose Blitz as well, because we are going to be a level 1 soldier again. Most of the... well, actually, not quite a level 1 soldier. We are going to, however, drop a lot of this stuff. So the only skills from Soldier that I actually want are Zohan's Technique. Absolutely have to have that. And maybe Blitz. Blitz is somewhat optional because we will be getting a, in my opinion, better movement skill from the Oathkeeper section. Now, I'm going to try and keep Fighting Spirit. I'm going to keep Military Conditioning. Menhir's Will requires a shield or a 2-handed melee weapon, so unfortunately we are losing a Circuit Breaker. And we're going to leave 10 points in here. Take everything out of Force Wave. Try and keep this. And we'll see about Blitz. Actually, I'm going to remove Blitz for the moment. Okay, so chuck one in there and one in there. Arkovian's advantage, you can leave this at 1 point, and 1 point in Zohan's Technique for the moment will be fine. And let's go ahead and take Oathkeeper, because Oathkeeper is going to be our main mastery for this build, by which I mean it has the attack skill that we're going to be using. It also has Smite, which is the weapon proc skill, or one of the 2 weapon proc skills we have access to, or weapon pool skills, sorry, that has 100% chance to pass through enemies. Now, what that means is normal bullets hit an enemy and stop, and that's it. This one, Smite, 26% chance to be used. It'll go straight through enemies out to sort of the edge of the screen-ish, and it'll hit everything in like a line. I guess a similar shape to Force Wave, because it's not just direct line and you'll miss something here. It's kind of like a beam, and you'll hit stuff slightly to the side as well. So I want to max that out. I do want to max out Zolhan's technique, but we'll see how we go for skill points first. So let's go up to 10 here. Definitely want to get this at least up to... Can I get an 8th? Yeah, I can. Okay. You know what? Let's max it out. 26 points spent. That's fine. 1 point in resilience. It is nowhere near as good as Menhir's Will, but it's all we have for the moment. Dreeg's Reproach here will convert our damage away, so we do not take this. 1 point in Presence of Virtue, just for a small chance to do some extra damage over time. The offensive ability on this node is most of what we want, and the energy regeneration will be useful as well. I'm going to stop this when it gets to 8. There we go. So 16 of 16, stop there. We will max this out later, but I just want the 8th charge level for the moment, and we'll see what we're doing with our extra points. We're going to max out Smite. Safeguard requires a shield, so this does nothing for us. Same deal with Shattering Smash. It is another weapon pull skill, unfortunately requires a melee weapon and also a shield, so that's no good for us. 1 point in Vaya's Might. This is the movement skill I was talking about that's actually quite good. I do want to get my hands on Consecration as well. Let's go ahead and max out Zolhan's though. 18 out of 12 means we have a 28% chance to use Zolhan's. Yes, I didn't actually want to click on that, but anyway. So 28 plus 26, a lot of the time that's going to be 54. Don't do maths while recording. 54% chance, so half of our attacks will be AoEs, which is nice, because otherwise we are single target. Alright, we've got more skill points available. Do I want to spend them over here? I think probably not. Arkovian's advantage here doesn't go through and hit any other targets. It is a weapon pool skill, so it's worth having, but I'm probably going to leave it at 1 point. Alright, Oathkeeper. Let's go another 5 up here. Now, Haven is great for extra health, for healing effect increase, which is really nice. Healing effect increase applies to everything that's not regeneration, so lifesteal, any kind of items you have that heal you. I'm pretty sure it applies to literally everything. I do want to get more points here though. This is attack speed. We'll go to 9. 9 seems like a good number. Why 9? Actually, I have no idea. And I think that's probably where we're going to leave it. 1 point in Ascension is probably not horrible either. The great thing about Ascension is the damage absorption line there. 20 damage absorption. Basically reduce every instance of damage that you get by 20, which doesn't sound like much, but it does add up. Every tick of every dot will be reduced by 20. Every hit reduced by 20. If someone has a weapon that does 100 damage, and then the weapon has a proc that does 100 damage, well, you just reduced it by 40. It's really, really good. Any kind of dots, again, reduced by 20. It's great to have. One of the best defensive skills in the game. And later we'll be able to add some offensive ability and some resistances and stuff to it. So this is really good too. Right, let's set up the hotbars here. Now, I like to have my attack on my right mouse and move to on left click. I also want to have my movement skill on button number 1. And I like to have Ascension or, Blood of Dreeg, those sorts of skills. I like those on button number 4. What else have we got here? I think that's it for now. Alright, so we are a 3-button build. Now, the other thing I want to talk about right here is this one here. Move to breaks objects. Now, let me show you why I don't like that. That doesn't count for some reason. Okay, let's go find ourselves a barrel or something to shoot at. So keep in mind these are level 7, so we're not going to be murdering them particularly efficiently. Or I guess we are, but it doesn't count because they're level 7. Don't expect that sort of performance from current level stuff. Okay, so I have move to breaks objects still on. There's an object, okay? So let's say I'm in the house and I'm just walking and I happen to mouse over the barrel or the jug. I'm just going to stand here and shoot at this forever. It's really, really frustrating. Whereas if I turn that off, and this is now going to be more frustrating when I play a different build, but you'll see it just lets me move to it now. So I like to have that option turned off when I'm playing gun builds. Move to breaks objects, set it to off, unless you actually want to be stuck in here shooting at every barrel. I hate it. I turn it off. You do you. I've kind of showed you both ways, and you just play with it until you find the one you like. Okay, Severed Claws. This is going to be my component of choice until we can get our hands on Oleron's Blood. And I happen to have 2 of those already because I made a boo-boo with my previous weapon, and I crafted an extra one because I forgot I already had one. And then the extra one didn't show up here because this was in another tab, and I was freaking out as to where it went. Alright, so 1 on each of these pistols. This is just some extra flat physical damage. 7 physical damage from the claw, plus 25% physical damage. The Brutal Slam, we're not going to use that. I guess we could chuck it on the bar and just see what it does. But I'm not expecting to use it. So there we go. Devotions will also need to be changed. However, I don't think I have enough Aether Crystals for that. I don't, so you remember earlier when I was saying you don't have enough Aether Crystals? Well, here's proof. If you need Aether Crystals, and you will need these at some point. What you can do is you can come into the Warden's Laboratory or the Underground Transit here, and a run through here will get you something like 14. You may get some fancier crystals, maybe you get some shards, maybe you get a cluster, but there's usually 14-ish chances to get these. They're always in the same spot as well, which is always fun. So we can just run through and pick them up. Don't have to go looking for them because, like I said, they're always in the same spot. So we can avoid all that noise over there. I'm just here for crystals, so I'm not really worried too much about killing any of the zombies. They can throw their little poison balls and their fireballs and little lightning orbs and whatever else. Don't care. Just here for the crystals. Okay. So that was the full run. There are obviously other places you can get those crystals, but that's the easy way. Also note that the Warden's Laboratory in normal or veteran difficulty is only doable, like I've just done, up to about level 40, maybe 41, because the laboratory stops leveling with you at level 30, so it will stay 30, 31-ish forever. And once you're 10 levels higher than it, it can't drop them for you anymore. Alright, devotion points. Let's go ahead and rip these out. I will need to spend... Hang on, let me check the plan. Yeah, the lizard is not part of the plan anymore, so I'll need to spend that one, and then we can rip these out. And we are basically starting from nothing. Fox, do I want the fox? I do want the fox, so we're going to keep that. Alright, we're going to spend a point in purple. And we're actually going to take the falcon, so I didn't need to do that, but it's fine. I'm going to put that on Righteous Fervor because that is our main attack, and this is going to be the only proc we have for a little bit. So Fox and the Falcon will do us for the moment. Let's rip that point out of purple, and we're going to chuck it into Crossroads Red and start on the Jackal. So the Jackal we're taking because we need red points, basically. That's kind of it. We're going for the Hydra, and for that we need 3 purple, which we're getting from the Falcon, 5 green, which we're getting from the Fox, and 3 red, which we're going to get from the Jackal. So this is where you should be up to on your constellations. At this point, we'll be getting some Falcon swoops going on, and let's actually have a quick look here. Internal trauma is not too bad. You do want to keep an eye on your internal trauma damage. You really, really want to watch out for reflecting enemies. They're the ones with the yellow circle with spiky bits on it. Really watch out for that because you can really just kill yourself. Okay, so that's all sorted. Now, this gun is actually pretty good in terms of physical damage, but because we're losing so many skill points to do it, I'm going to sell those. I don't need them. Same with this Gunslinger's jacket. I kept that just to kind of talk about it. If I have a look, my damage should go up when I put this on, so yeah, definitely goes up. But it's not a good actual chest piece, which is, you know, your most important piece of armor. Alright, before we go too far here, I just want to check my resistances. They are fine. I should get another anti-venom salve, but you know what, I'm not going to. Okay, let's give this a test. Not bad, not bad. Definitely better when the weapon pull skills go off. And once we get our hands on Oleron's blood, we're going to be shooting off something just about every single attack. It's going to be great. See, this is a whole lot better than pew, 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 one target at a time. This is, when I was saying earlier that this gets better, this is kind of what I was thinking. This is what my test character felt like, and it didn't feel quite so bad to set up on the test character. But that's alright, no more boring Force Wave for all of you people who hate Force Wave. Let's get onto it. So, level 25, level 26, somewhere around there. Once you get your 2 pistols, once you're set up correctly to get these procs going, this is where the fun starts. Now, these guys here, this is where the fun stops. The yellow glowy enemies are healers. And these guys, Flame Revenants and other big tanky skelly bros, have a lot of health. So these guys will watch you pummel the guy with the huge health bar down to about half health, and then they'll heal him to full. And it's really, really frustrating. So do yourself a favor. Any fight with the undead, find the guys that are glowing yellow and murder them to death immediately. And first. Alright. Totems. We should have no trouble with totems. Let's go ahead and pop it. Okay, these guys also have huge health bars. Now, I can't see any yellow glows, but doesn't mean they're not there. This guy not getting healed does kind of suggest that there's no healer there. Okay, I do want to stay more or less out of melee range. So this guy's burning, this guy's diseased. The big skeleton golem things will root you in place. So that's kind of frustrating, but it should be fine. So the Inferno Relic, Tome of Plagues. Okay, Stonehide Boots of Haste. I am probably putting those on. Let's have a quick look at those. Yeah, so much better armor, 10% movement speed, increased armor percentage, 3 resistances. Yes, please. I'll take those, absolutely. What are we looking at for chest pieces? This one is kind of similar. Spirit is kind of okay, the rest of that not so much. We are now also no longer caring about casting speed. So a chest piece like this one with casting speed on it, don't care, we're not interested. Same with the guns as well. We're pretty much stuck with the Viper Sandspitters because nothing else you find is going to be anywhere near as good. Okay, this is not Blood of Dreeg. So you're going to be stuck with farming these pistols. However, once you actually figure out where the hero Sandspitters live, I mean, that wasn't too bad. There's maybe 15 minutes to get 2 decent pistols. If you happen to get a rare prefix, you know, if you get Tyrants as a prefix, that's pretty good. If you get Of Fervor as a suffix, that's pretty good. There's a few others as well. Unfortunately, there's none with physical damage procs, but if you get a fire damage proc, these guns have 56% elemental to fizz there and 41 there. I've got 97% elemental to physical conversion, so any kind of physical, any kind of elemental damage, we're converting all of that to physical. I didn't grab that quest, did I? I definitely want this quest. This is the Steps of Torment kind of, it's not really an unlock quest, it's more of a go over here, check this out kind of quest. But it is worth XP, and you do get a skeleton key out of it if you do, I think, the next quest after this one. So it's worth picking up. Also, this Ancient Lectern here, this is the start of a quest that is going to be inside. So Oh, okay. So this guy here, he is reflecting. See that little spiky aura he has? That means I shoot him, and I get hit by my own internal trauma. At the moment, it's not doing much. You gotta wait for him to not be doing that anymore, and then you can kill him. And then you realize there's a priest who's just healed him back to full, and you get really annoyed by priests all over again. Alright, come here, you. Alright, he's not reflecting. Let's take him out. Now, at the moment, we're not doing huge amounts of damage, so we're not instantly deleting my health bar anytime I hit anything that reflects, but there is a good chance that that will happen. Now, I do have plans in the build to take some reflect resistance, which we can definitely increase that, but I have a certain amount of it baked in, and if I'm noticing it's a problem, I will change things around to get some more. Okay, Devotion Shrine. Let's get that done. Now, is this as good as Force Wave? Well, it's arguable. Force Wave is going to be one of our weapon proc skills every single attack. It's going to hit everything in the line every single attack, instead of just when the weapon pull skill goes off. So Force Wave is probably a little better. But we're not playing a Force Wave build. I could have done that. I did consider doing a Force Wave build all the way, just doing Force Wave Warlord, because it is, air quotes, the classic. But no, we're playing guns. Alright, do I want this? Yes. Can I afford losing 8% elemental? Absolutely. So, more armor, more health, defensive ability I don't really care about. Pierce resistance will still be capped. Yeah, let's go ahead and swap that over. This kind of swapping does mean that I will need to change my components. I don't think I need the resistances on this one. The health is kind of minor. I'm going to leave that one. And I'm going to leave my pants as well. Yeah, I think we just swapped the gloves over. I am getting a decent amount of lifesteal from the component on these gloves, so I do want to keep my add-on here. Let's go ahead and chuck that on there. Physique, and let's get some more cunning. Now, at level 100, let me double check this, you will need 529 cunning to equip your level 94 pistols. So we will need to put some points in cunning, but actually not that many. Something like 50, so about half would be good. Alright, Jackal, number 2, 6% total speed. So move speed, attack speed, cast speed, all of the speeds go up by 6%. Very, very nice node on the Jackal there. Available very early. It's good stuff. Alright, this is not the way I need to go. Also, the quest item, the Forgotten Passage, this is, you'll see here, 1 of 3. There is one of these. One that spawns on the outside here. It can be either here, where I got mine, or it could be here in the middle of this little courtyard, or it can be over here next to where the totem was. So just hit those 3 spots and grab it. Or if you didn't, don't worry about it. There's more than 3 of them inside. What this does is it means you don't have to find one inside in order to get the star on the map to appear. But it doesn't really matter because you just click on one when you find it, and then a whole bunch of them will show up on the map. Okay, let's get in there. Now there is another beehive over here. There's the Colosseum, and yeah, I'm not going to do that. Let's take the super secret side exit here, or side passage. This doesn't usually save much in the way of time. In fact, in this case, it was probably a long cut, but that's fine. Going through the undead here, again, lots of poison damage, or lots of piercing, sorry. Vitality is going to be a big deal. So vitality resistance on the bottom floor here. If you have soul shards, you probably want to swap them in because they have 20%. I'm not going to because I'm already at 80% on vitality. But if you're low on vitality resistance, you're definitely going to want to swap in soul shards if you have them. I probably wouldn't go to the 3rd level of this place without at least sort of 40 to 50%, and that's really a minimum. So keep that in mind. Or if you're playing softcore, just YOLO it. It's fine. YOLO is actually not true when you're playing softcore. Falcon Swoop going up a level, more damage, always good. Spellwoven Threads, is that my second? No, it's Unholy Inscription. Alright, so I'm looking for heroes. You can see that star just popped up on my map. That is the first hero that I'm looking for in here. I say looking for, but he's always in the same spot, so it's not really a secret where he is. I'm targeting the yellow glowy priest first, because I don't want them to be healing the stuff that I'm trying to kill. A lot of the small stuff will just sort of die and not be an issue. But we're about to fight a hero, and you don't want the hero to get down kind of low and then all of a sudden he's back to full life. Okay. Clear off all of this stuff. Now I am actually running out of energy, so I'm going to have to start using energy potions. But they are infinite, so you just kind of use them. Alright, here is Numos Dread. Let's take him out. Shouldn't be too hard. He just does have... I mean, look at all those deflects there. I'm going to check my offensive ability after this, because I think I may be a little bit low. And I definitely need to be using that energy potion a little more often. Soul Shards will also help with that. In fact, let's go do that. You stay here. I'll be right back. Okay, ring. Keep the item. Don't do what I've done in the past and melt your item. Also don't do what I've just done and waste money because you only have 1 soul shard. 30% energy absorbed from enemy spells. Basically, whenever you get hit by spells, you get energy. Now, he's cast a lightning sort of shell. There we go. My energy is still going down. It is going up a little bit though, so yeah, it's probably not a big deal, honestly. It could also be the case that you actually have to get hit by a spell that was cast rather than, you know, his little lightning aura there was probably counts as a buff on himself and not a spell on me, so that may have made absolutely no difference at all. In fact, if I was a betting man, I'd say that's probably likely. Okay, I do like to do a little bit of a speedrunning trick here. Actually, I have no idea if this is a speedrunning trick. They probably skipped the entire area. But I do like to drop a rift just at the bottom of that stairs. Come out here, talk to Minerva. And then run down here and get the rift gate. I'm going to be honest, I've never watched a speedrun of this game. I'm aware that they exist. That's it. And then we rift back to the rift gate that I had put down previously. Aha. Alright, priest goes first, then we focus the bigger guys. And probably didn't need to kill them anyway. Here's another lectern. Is that me done? It is. Beautiful. This early on you're going to get a relic blueprint, and it might actually be one that you don't know. Later you're going to be getting quest rewards from, like, when we do this quest on Ultimate. I pretty much guarantee you it's going to give you a blueprint for a relic that you already know the blueprint for. Same with a whole bunch of other quests as well. They all give blueprints, and every time you get them, you're like, this is worthless. I already know this one. Okay, here's another lectern. I've completed that quest, so it doesn't show up. Let's keep pushing forward here. So I've killed Nomos Dread. Laudos Vagra and Ravina Kerr are both going to be on the next level, so let's get to the next level. I'm going to miss having Falcon Swoop later on when I don't have it anymore. The plan for devotions, one of the, I think the second or third last line in the plan is remove the Falcon. So, a little bit unfortunate, but until then, it's going to be good to have. Killing him was maybe a waste of time. That was a lot of time plinking away at him. Having this at almost 1 in 3 is really nice. This feels a lot more usable, a lot more playable. Definitely need a new hat, that looks ridiculous. Okay, Wandering Soul. I don't know what he did. I was having a mini panic there. I thought I saw the Reflectora. I don't think I did, though. And just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean that they are not out to get me. Okay. Coming up on Laudus Vagra here. Definitely want to make sure all of the priests in the area are pushing up daisies. And here he comes. You know what? He's over here now. We're going to fight him over here. So obviously the meteors, you want to avoid them as much as you can. And otherwise you just want to just kill him. Hold down right click, watch his health bar deplete. I might just stand in the next meteor field. Actually, maybe not. Probably I'd be fine, but I don't want to risk it. It's not good to get into the habit of just standing in stuff when you can avoid it either, so let's not do that. Alright, 2 out of 3 are done. There's a level up as well, level 28. Now, last level I maxed out Consecration here. So we're kind of done-ish with Righteous Fervor. 1, 2, 3 doesn't get me another charge level. The next level is also not going to get me another charge level, but it does give me extra flat damage, which is nice. Other things I want to max out, I definitely want Ascension. Although I'm, at the moment, not used to pushing it, so that would kind of suck. The Retribution node here is skippable almost completely. I'll probably put 1 point in it and then just leave it. Internal Trauma is not your friend, kind of. I'm mostly worried about reflecting myself to death with that. Rebuke is okay. It's pretty good. Decent amount of flat physical damage that'll be added to both of our pistols. The reflect damage reduction, though, makes this a, like, instantly max this. So we'll have reflect damage reduction on that, and then, if I'm not mistaken, we will be taking... Oh no, there we go. So, if we're taking too much reflect damage, we'll be dropping the Dire Bear, which is the actual plan, and instead we'll be taking the Lotus. So this has got 25%. But we're not there yet. Also, let's get some more cunning. I'm not too worried about my health at the moment. 3.2k, level 28. It's actually a little bit low when you've got Soldier in the mix. But we don't really have Soldier in the mix. We've got 1 point in military conditioning and 10 points in the bar. And that's kind of it. We are mostly an Oath Keeper. Alright, I am looking out for a treasure trove as well. I haven't noticed it just yet. The first place it can spawn, though, I didn't check, so may have been there and I may not get it. This might actually be the first treasure trove for the run, now that I'm thinking of it. So, might actually go out of my way to find it. Respected with the Rovers, and you know what that means? Actually not much at the moment. We do get access to a few components and some other blueprints, but I'm not really going to be using those for the moment. Priests have got to go. Checking for treasure trove just there. That sounded really cool. I don't know that it really did much, but it did sound really cool. Oh, and I was going to check my offensive ability. 100% hit chance. Okay, so it's just... it's nothing on my end that's causing the deflections. Alright, definitely killing the priests. Now we can focus down the rest, and I am doing that totem. We are absolutely strong enough to just murder totems now, so they are free loot and free XP. Having said that, though, you do kind of have to respect them at least a little bit. So, what do we got? Blood Drinker, we got Burning. Yeah, I'm not too worried about any of this. Old Mate can go. These guys do actually hit decently hard as well. Now, oh, and they also root you in place, so they've got that little bone cage thing. Probably want to kill the Warlocks pretty quick. There we go. What did we win? The Dead Beater, Pedala's Will, and Touch of Malice. Elixir of the Hunt is pretty good, actually. Attack speed, movement speed, lasts for, what's that, 30 minutes or something? Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. So we picked up the Dead Beater here. This is pet stuff. Touch of Malice, physical damage, but it's a one-handed force wave weapon, which is question mark. Yeah, none of this. Alright, we'll grab the secret loot, or the hidden loot. First time through, you usually get a little bit better on the chest. Not always, but can. Checking for resistances on jewelry. At this point in the game, I'm pretty much only looking at resistances. At least on the jewelry. We will be looking at more damage-focused stuff later. Skeletal Knights just randomly deleting half of your health bar. Okay, there we go. Alright, so Ravina Kerr is just here. So that's the third of the 3 hero undead that we were sent to kill by, what's his face outside? Once again, take out all the priests because they will be irritating if they start healing the person you're trying to kill. You know what? I think I want more points in Ascension, so I'm going to spend that. And I'm just going to push it. Just see what we get. I think it's, I think you actually get a little bit of damage. I know I looked at it earlier this episode. Definitely offensive ability, isn't it? Alright. 3 for 3. And now Calderos, who is the guy who gave it to us, we'll go talk to him probably much later. Although there is a devotion point out there, so maybe it's worth a run. What do we got here? Yeah, 64% all damage, and then the offensive ability is, yeah, second node. Definitely worth using this pretty much on cooldown if you've got it. It's really strong, so definitely do it. Hidden spoils, no treasure trove, but I'll go down there. If you shoot the wall here, then you've got a nice little ramp down here. I am going to get jumped. There they are. Rune-carved opal signet of the eagle. That sounds like it might be... it's kind of not great, actually. Consecrated gloves. Good armor. Nice stats. Vitality instead of piercing. Resistance kind of doesn't matter. And I think I prefer the stun resist over the slow resist, so... Ooh, extra damage to undead, though. You know what? I think I am going to go ahead and swap those gloves. It's a bit of a side grade, but especially considering we're about to be done with fighting the undead. However, we definitely keep the item. Definitely do still have, not that one, one hero to kill. Definitely vitality resistance right now if you don't have it. Get it. Put it on, love it. You can get 10% from an unholy inscription. You can get 20 from each of these soul shards. 50% should be pretty easy to get. Maybe 30, maybe you only have one soul shard. 40% then, because you will definitely have a corpse dust. And then maybe you just have a random piece of gear with another 10% on it. Just try and get it right now, because we are about to fight Killrian. So Killrian is the, I mean, I'm doing air quotes again, the boss, the final boss of this dungeon, the Arkovian Undercity. He's the guy at the bottom. Now, if you've got good resistances and a little bit of lifesteal, you don't really need to worry too much about him. He's kind of whatever. And it looks like I haven't found the treasure trove. Who's freezing me? It's you, isn't it? No, you're just a knight. Alright, all of the priests were dead, and then some more of them came out of the ground, so let's go ahead and take care of them before they heal up their buddies. Get out of the goop as well. And I was going to say I'm just going to walk away from him because he's got too much health, but he's dead, so don't worry about it. Okay, priest, die. Definitely want to kill the warlock as well. Try and stay away from the knight. And rooted in place, which is lovely. Also need to try and remember to use Ascension. When I use Ascension, actually, if we go down here to physical damage, I've only got 300%, which, I mean, that's actually pretty good, but adding another 64 to that is not nothing. Alright, so we have these doors here. This is there's something scary past this door. So let's go kill him. Everything is spent, devotion points all spent. Yeah, let's just go kill him. Priests can come out of the ground kind of here-ish, so let's see if I can spawn them before he comes out. There we go. And I've managed to kill them without aggroing Killrian. There's two things about him that you want to be careful of. The first one is not that. The first one is this dart. He's going to shoot a dart at me. There it is. That's the dart. So you want to be careful about that. And then you also want to be careful about that. So the easiest way to avoid the dart is to just stand right in front of him and blow him up. And then all you have to do is keep out of the purple goop on the floor. So he's going to put it down now. There it is. Just get out of that. And then you can shoot him. Now, probably with 80% vitality resistance, I probably don't need to care about the goop on the ground. I'll just stand in this for a second and kind of see how it goes. Yeah, it's probably fine. I'm actually really enjoying the deflection. Whenever it deflects an attack, it seems like it's shooting the projectiles off. Okay, we're going to pick up his weapon, and I didn't see... No, it doesn't look like it. If you get a component that looks like a soul shard here, but it's more of a darker pink, congratulations, you won the lottery. So it's 1 in 3 chance for him to drop that. And that component, Killrian Shattered Soul, goes on your chest, and he is the only person, or the only enemy that has his own dedicated component that drops nowhere else in the game. So if you want that component, you can only get it from him. And it does fire and vitality damage and steals life based on how much damage it does. So anything that stands next to you, when it triggers, you're going to steal health from those things. Alright, the Jackal is now done, so we are on to the Hydra. And we can take that red point back as well. Alright, now I've already got the next Rift Gate because I dropped that 6 speedrunner trick back at the start, and we've already got that one, so we can just leave that dungeon and go ahead and vendor all of this stuff. Now, if you want to hang on to the blues, I probably wouldn't, but you definitely don't have to sell them like I do. Actually, Turin's boots. Physical damage, move speed, poison resistance. +2 to Counter-Strike. These are actually not amazing. The armor on them is okay. 20% poison and acid is not bad, but it's also not amazing. And we are coming up on level 35 when we get some reputation gear. We haven't actually met Homestead yet, so we're going to be a little behind there. But, for example, at level 35, you can use the Devil's Chest Guard here. This goes up to, I think, 5% physical resistance, which is what I'm going to be aiming for. Assuming I have the physique required to use it. You can also look at the Devil's Head Guard, probably, which has that Earthquake proc on attack, it's physical damage, 10% chance on any attack, lasts for 3 seconds, recharge in 3 seconds. This is pretty good. The Elemental Seal here, unfortunately, and this is actually very unfortunate because Elemental Seal is a really nice proc. Unfortunately, this is when I get hit, not when I hit things. So this one's not so good. So I'll be trying to get these around level 35. We should have... actually, we've already got Respected, so we can just buy them when the time comes. They are a little exy. What are they, 18,000? We can afford that, no problem. Was I keeping this for something? No. Okay. So we're done here. Let's go ahead and remove that devotion proc, or that devotion point. That's what I was here for. So after the Jackal, we are removing Crossroads Red, and we are starting in on the Hydra. Now, the Hydra, like it says, requires a ranged weapon. And the reason you want this is it's got really, really good bonuses for ranged. 5% max move speed there. I think there's another 5% max move speed there. Was there another one? Or was that it? No. Okay, so 10% movement speed. And this is one of the few places in the game you can actually increase the maximum movement speed. So at the moment, we're looking at 135% is the maximum, and we're almost there. So if I had a Mark of the Traveler for my boots, how convenient. There we go. We're at the maximum. We're actually over the maximum. So 135%, that's it. That's all you get. You can never get any more except for when you can. Increasing the move speed cap is really good. And then look at all the other bonuses. Offensive ability, more offensive ability, attack speed, extra damage, just all types of damage, lifesteal, more attack speed, flat physical damage. If you're playing a, say, a fire pistol build, you're playing a purifier, you're going to be converting that over to fire. Same with this, huge amount of flat physical damage, percentage offensive ability, some slow... It's just really, really good. Okay, I'm finished gushing about the Hydra now. It's probably a good thing you have to be using a really gimped weapon system in order to actually get those bonuses. Alright, so we're in the Broken Hills now. There is a devotion shrine in here that I'll be hitting, because obviously. There is also Lutra, the Abandoned, who is a hero that we'll be killing. I think she's actually technically a boss, because she'll have a skull above her head. But she's basically a hero rather than a boss. It's not particularly hard. Speaking of heroes, hi, Volaxna the Blood Gorger, and I didn't even see the other guy's name. Stone-Faced of Attack is actually pretty good. Let's have a look at that. So we've got some extra armor on a ring, and of attack is going to be a bunch of offensive ability. No resistances, which is unfortunate, because I really do like resistances on my jewelry, so I will not be using that. Let's just go around some of these buzzards. I've been killing too many of them already. Didn't notice until after I'd already ran straight past him. Alright, skip this as well. So you're going to see on your map this little square tower. I said I was skipping you guys, but you know, you kind of talked me into this. Yep, this little square thing here. Don't do my usual trick and just walk past it, because we do actually want to kill Lutra. We have a quest for it. It is going to give us direct character power, because it is a... it's going to give us an attribute point. So we'll take her out. It's actually a hero, not a boss. So there you go. And that's done. Now, Ancient Spirit Totem. I'm going to go poke this, and I'm going to expect actually to have to run away from it, or at least to kite it away and, you know, pick things off one at a time. So I am going to poke this. And if I see the big skeleton golems, I'm immediately running away. I'm done. Actually, it should be okay. We can probably take out a couple of these. They're actually most likely... Yeah, they're off fighting the... Oh no, they're after me. I was going to say they're off fighting all the beasts, but actually, no, they're not. I'm maybe playing a little bit scared, actually, for that totem. I think I have enough lifesteal and damage that I'm probably fine. Yeah, what do we got here? Harris. Okay, I can't run because I was rooted there, so we do need to keep an eye on that. And I don't think this guy's a reflector, so it should be fine. Bloodhound Greaves? Nope. And Wraithcrawler's Mantle, also probably a nope, but we'll check the armor on it. Does look like it might be a little bit of an upgrade. And I don't care because I found an even better pair. So, Wraithcrawler's Mantle here, some bonuses, not really amazing for us, but decent armor. These ones, though. Aether resistance instead of elemental. That is going to uncap my fire, which I don't love. The reason I was immediately excited about this is the Of Kings suffix there. That battle cry proc, when I get hit, I just do more damage and get 10% more total speed. Really, really good. I think I'm going to make this change. I'm going to make that trade. I want the King's proc. Technically, yes, my fire resistance is now 71% instead of 80, and that is, what are we looking at? 45% more fire damage taken, something like that. Okay, this is not a merchant. Yeah, so that is actually not great. If I was super worried about it, what I could do is I could drop the Mark of the Traveler off of here. I could go to the blacksmith, and I could craft myself a molten skin, and that would give me fire resistance, and it'd just kind of be fine. Okay, I'm actually just straight up going to max out Ascension. I think that is objectively the correct thing to do. Alright, here is my Devotion Shrine, which I am very happy to see. Polished Emerald. Yep, got lots of those that I don't care about. Also have dropped a double rare helmet. Extra armor. Formidable is more healing effects. Menhir's Wall is extra armor. Yeah, I think I may end up putting that on. Piercing resistance, I'm 15% over. Now I'm exactly at the cap. Yep, I'm happy to wear that. This is not actually super amazing, but it's decent. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and roll with it. Poison 51. Yeah, I kind of have to melt the Explorer's cover. This is basically blasphemy, depending on who you talk to. But I'm just gonna do it. The Explorer's set is nice to have, but it's not crucial. Okay, I do want to spend my devotion point, so let's go ahead and get the Hydra again. 10% move speed, 35 offensive ability. We are now move speed capped, definitely. I think I was before as well. But once I take the nodes that give me additional maximum movement speed, still going to be capped because of that. There we go. And we just basically follow the road. We are about to run into an NPC. This is Elsa, who we were sent to find. Tunamone wanted to find her, so you can have a chat. Mutual friends looking for you. Let's just ignore her, though. There's actually no reward for finding her. And I think, actually, you end up just finding Monet dead later on because he goes to find her, and, yeah, bad things happen. Anyway, I'm just going to wash my hands of that whole situation, and we're going to leave. So we can pew-pew our way through all this stuff. I do want to warn you, though, these misspawns, if you find some of the heroes, I'm blanking on the name because obviously I am, but some of them are quite scary, especially because a lot of the misspawn, just regular dudes, will throw nets at you. I think they're actually called trappers. But if I go in here, hunters maybe? Let's see if I get netted. I've only got a couple of people trying to kill me at the moment. Yeah, there we go. So I can't move. Trapped, bleeding. It's all bad stuff. If you get trapped in place and there's a hero trying to kill you, Good luck. Definitely don't need to kill those guys, though. Alright, so Smuggler's Pass, let's get through this at the end of the episode here. There is a big boss at the end of this, and technically Voldrak is, I believe, the boss of Act 2. So I'm going to say this will be the completion of Act 2. And definitely enjoying the dual pistol action again. It's been way too long since I played a ranged build. There are obviously a few things that frustrate me about ranged builds, but in general, they are pretty fun. Where am I going? I'm going the wrong way. Let's go ahead and pick these guys off. And hopefully I get the totem up ahead, because this totem is very, very scary. Computer appears to be saying no, though. Yeah, definitely no totem for me. It would be kind of here-ish if I was getting the totem. I'm going to kill the hunters because I don't really feel like being netted. And then let me explain to you why you should probably not click on this totem here if you get it. The answer is basically one word, and that is shamblers. Shamblers are the big rock golems that throw glowing boulders at you. And you saw one of them delete, you know, a little bit less than half of my health bar in a single attack from that boulder. It is entirely possible, and in fact kind of common here, to get 6 of those out of that one totem. It's then also incredibly common for these hunters to go, oh, you're shooting stuff that's friendly to me, I'm going to come and throw nets at you. So you get netted in spot, and then you get 6 boulders thrown at you that you can't dodge because you're not allowed to move, and now you're dead. So if you are going to click on this, make sure you go kill all the hunters first, and then murder the shamblers with extreme prejudice. Okay, I think we can just kill Voldrak. Now, Voldrak hits like an absolute freight train. He's like, you know, 10 trucks tied to the front of a train, being transported on a rocket. He hits really, really hard. The great news about that, though, is that he is one of those bosses where you can just run around. He can't really hurt you. He does that little ground slam with the wave that comes out. He'll yell. If you're close enough, it'll slow you down a bit. And then you can just dodge through him, move to the side. You really don't need to take any damage from him pretty much at all. There we go. So I got 38% run speed reduction. Ouch. That's why you want to dodge it. Did I mention he hits really hard? I think I mentioned it. So after me saying you shouldn't really take any damage from him at all, I got too close. He yelled at me, which slowed me down. I evaded out to get some distance so as I could show what the buff did. And then he did the force wave, and I didn't have my evade. It was on cooldown. So I tried to evade away, and it didn't work because it was on cooldown. So that's what happened there. But realistically, you shouldn't really be taking much damage from him. Let's pick up that blueprint. You could also get the Mistborn Talisman from Old Mate here. He is one of, I think, 3, maybe 2 heroes that can drop it. We're not going to be using that, but it's kind of okay. It has a default attack replacer skill. If your build needs one and doesn't have one, then you can do that. Okay, these heroes here, definitely a little bit scary. Mostly because I don't remember the one that's actually scary, so I just go with they're all scary. And there we go, that's the end of Act 2. So let's just run over here and grab the Rift Gate, and then that's going to be it. So we are now a pistol build. Guess I'll pick that up as well. And it actually didn't take too long to find the pistols, which I was somewhat concerned. I was pretty sure it'd be fine, but with only having random spawn heroes available to get the pistols, I was a little bit concerned. But it all kind of worked out in the end. Fleshwort plate mail is actually pretty good. Maybe not this particular version. Stalwart of Blood. Don't really need bleeding damage, although I do bleeding damage. However, that is going to be the end of this episode, so I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and bye for now.